Hello guys and welcome to a brand new Ursina video, and in this video we're going to be focusing on improving our world a little bit, doing multiple things. So just to quickly recap on what we did the last time, we had our zombie, our model over here, so we have a friend right now, and we also had this infinite terrain, and everything seems to look good. So not infinite terrain, random terrain, sorry. And everything seems to look good. So uh, I want to start off right now by making the jumping a little bit smoother. So if you realize right now, and if I jump, I, I sort of get pulled down, like there's a magnet pulling me. So all I have to do is player dot gravity equals, and all you have to do now is play with the value. So you won't get it right the first time. So let's try 1. Uh, So it's probably depending on what you want, how you want your jump to look like. And this is definitely not smooth, and I'm looking for smooth here. So you probably need something less than 1 if you're looking for a smooth jump. And it seems to sort of work out. So all I like to do is set it to 0.2. So land from a high area, and yeah, it's like it's jumping in Minecraft. Almost not, because I mean it's a bit too smooth. Like we jump quickly, but then we land slowly. But what can we do? Because we don't want this sudden pull down, so we really can't do anything about it. So today I'm gonna be looking into some stuff. We have that grass texture over here. The sides, yeah, they're not that good, and like I mean the texture is sort of boring right now. We don't have any variations between the sides of the block texture. And we're also going to be working on infinite terrain finally. So we'll be making some infinite terrain to our world, so we don't have to just walk off the void like that. uh, yeah, so let's get started. So first let's start by the texture thing. Now, to do the texture thing, uh, you can't just go and say like a texture to load in, because if you do that, the texture won't load correctly. It will load like in a weird way. And I mean, if you do it with something like this texture, which we're definitely gonna do, so we have some variations with the sides, then you're probably not gonna get it as good as always. So let's rewind a little bit. The texture over here, how did I get it? Or I guess the grass cube and the grass model. Now I'm the one who created these folders, but you won't you'll need to. So use something like Blockbench over here. This is a good app, and you just click Open Web App right here. Sometimes it will ask you for the controls if you want to leave everything default. And then all you have to do is New Generic Model. This is what you have to click. And then just type in name, for example, grass. Don't type something like cube, because it might get confusing for the Ursina. And then just keep everything default and select confirm. Make sure it's a 16 by 16. And we'll start by selecting a new cube, and then we could go ahead and do the size. So first of all, the position, we need to make it -8 over here, and the size we need to make it 16, because this is like the default texture, I guess, or like the Minecraft texture. So the Y, we're also gonna do 16, and then the Z. Now, yes, it's coming out because of the position, so we need to move it back. -8. There we go. We have our cube. Now, what's really interesting with a cube like this? Well, nothing. So all you have to do is go to textures, select add texture, or sorry, create texture, not import over here. Name it whatever you want, and select template. You might need that, and then click continue. So here each time you select a face, uh, each time you like select a face, so for example north, south, whatever, it will display here. And just go to paint right now. So if you, for example, selected this, it will say that you're in the west. This is the top. And like this, you can make your own texture. So I use left click to move the cube, right click to move the whole screen. And like this, you can start painting your own texture. So maybe you want a grass texture. So this over here is the north. And that means you could go ahead and just make it all green. Probably not like that. I'm just showing an example. And then maybe these are the sides, if I can get them correctly. These are the sides over here. And now probably the up is the green. Sorry, not the north. The the up is on the top. The north is basically the sides, like this. So you can create your own textures. You can create maybe your own sand, your own grass. I've already done that, so I don't need to do that anymore. Just leave that and close that, and you could go back to our code. So once you've got that, I recommend organizing it. So assets, and then we have I made a folder over here. You have the texture, and when you download it, make sure you also download an obj file along with it, which specifies the model. And this is exactly what we need to implement our texture over here. So if you just implement the texture like this, and let me show you real quick. So let's go ahead and copy that texture. Copy, and then over here go ahead and load that's PNG file. And then I run that. We will get some really weird terrain shape, and I don't think it's working. Yeah, I really don't think it's working because, wait a minute, let's save that, and then we'll run that. Yeah, I don't think it's finding this texture or anything. Yeah, so let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and show you what you can actually do to make this work. So, first of all, in the new Ursina, I think it was 3.6, you can actually remove the low texture thing, and this is exactly what we're gonna do, because I don't know why, but it seems like the textures aren't working if I leave them like this, or like the model. So, and then right now we have the model as a cube, wherever it is, like right over here. Yeah, we have the model cube, texture grass. Texture grass, we want to keep that, but the model. So let's say grass underscore model, whatever you want, equals, and instead of using the load model, simply just say the name of the model that you have. So grass cube, copy that, just like that, and then we just say .obj. And this again, I load up the model, which allows us to implement the texture. So instead of typing model cube now, we would say grass model. There we go. And okay, there we go. Yeah, now if we run the program, there we go. We got that, but not in the way we want. We got that in the model. The model's working, but not the texture somehow. So, what we want to do, okay, so let me sort that real quick. So go ahead. Okay, so let me just sort that real quick, and then I'll be back. Okay, so how I got it working right now is I literally forgot to remove these. So if I keep them, it's just not gonna work. It's gonna, I think that's the default Ursina texture. I don't know. But no, I don't think so. Maybe that's the texture I've implemented earlier on. But anyways, it doesn't work. You have to remove these. And make sure you do that same for the grass model. And then there we go. We have, I probably need to move the position of that. But there we go. We have the grass texture. I know it's not perfect, but at least we got our textures implemented. Now you can implement however texture you want. And also, maybe what we could do later on and what you could try out is saying something like maybe a function or like an update function, or maybe even just checking if the y position of the grass or like on the terrain or the cube is less than a specific number. So for example 4, then you would put sand, and then on the top, if it's like maybe harder than 7, you would put snow, and so on and so forth. So you could do that. You could definitely implement your own textures too. But there we go. We got our textures. That's easy. So now we're getting into the technical part, sort of. So we're going into where we need to create an infinite terrain. So to create an infinite terrain, we've got tons of efficient options. For example, we got where sometimes you would make an I don't know, an invisible shell that follows you, and then you have the others or the rest of the blocks as ghost blocks. That could work. That could be efficient. But remember, we're going into the basic side, so we really don't want to make things more complex, and so we're going to do it the easy way. Now, first of all, you need to surround these white brackets, the I and divided by terrain width, and then you need to add that to the player x if you want the cube x, and then we're going to do that again. And let me real quick show you what will happen if you do that. Now, the y position doesn't have to change because we're just changing x and t. So if I run the program right now, and real quick, let me just go ahead and change the terrain with something a bit smaller so that it's a bit faster when debugging or like changing features. As you can see, nothing happens. Why? Well, because it's not updating. It's just there. So what you want to do is you want to take all of that. You want to copy that and also delete it, I guess. And then you could put that in the update function, like that. You run the program, and okay, really doesn't work at all. Yeah, okay, so I don't think it works like that. So let's go ahead and delete that. We'll put that back in here, like this. And let's see, we need to make a way to, or sorry, find a way to update these. So what we could do is we could maybe take all of this and put it in the update function. I don't know if this is gonna work. Try that out. Then we'll check. And then all of those. It doesn't work. Okay, terrain width is not defined. Okay, it's right over here. Come on. Oh wait, that line. Okay, so yeah, actually, I really wanted to change the position of that because it was annoying where you just in the zombie. So yeah, that's good. Okay, so go ahead and program again, and these two. Okay, you know what? We'll set that as a global variable. So if you don't know, global variables in Python basically means to make the variable readable from everywhere. So if the variable is inside the function, another function can't read it. It's a local variable. So we can say local terrain width, and also I want to make cube local. Let's run the program. And okay, but there it is. I don't know. Okay, let me sort things out real quick. Okay, so I think I found a way, but I just forgot that it was an option. So let me just go ahead and undo everything I did right there and put it over here again. There we go. I think everything should be running good again. Yep, there we go. Okay. So what we could do is we could go ahead and indent all of this, and then we could define a new function. I'll call it genter, standing for generate terrain, and it takes nothing in it. There we go. And now we could literally put that function in the update function, and then we would be good to go. Okay, terrain width is not defined. Where is it? Over here. Okay, yeah, so we need to make it global. So let's just make it global. Global index. Okay, I don't know what's up with that right now. It is global, so I guess we could go ahead and do this. I think we need to put it under this. Sign for, yeah. This could get a little bit confusing. Okay, so for now, let's go ahead and remove that location thing. And yeah, okay, so we're getting a bit messed up right there. So all we're doing is we're basically just adding terrain width to player X. That's it. And then I just want to go ahead and remove these. Okay, there we go. Now we can run it, hopefully. And yep, there we go. It's working. Okay, so we're generating the terrain. It's so laggy. And the terrain is not getting deleted. We can generate terrain. Even if we move like backwards, we can still generate terrain, but it's too laggy to be handled. So we need to delete the terrain before us, and we could do that simply adding, I think it was 0.5 times terrain. I think that was it. Yeah, so we just add 0.5 times terrain width. So we're basically doing the terrain width thing, but we're dividing it each time the player moves, so we don't have any laggy things. And got a bit of an issue over here. Okay, so if we move, it generates terrain. Okay, it doesn't seem to be deleting it. Okay, so got a bit of problem over here again. Let's see. Okay, really sort of silly mistake over here. We don't need to add this. We need to subtract it. Yeah, that was a bit of a silly mistake. Okay, so yeah, we should spawn in a good location. Now if we move, no, doesn't seem to be deleting anything. Okay, so let's see. If I go back to my I'm trying to figure out a way over here. Okay, so I think I figured it out here. So what we need to do is create a new entity and apply these positions onto the entity. So uh, first of all, let's make some variables global. So we need the amp and the frequency to be definitely global. Forgot the color over here. We need to be definitely global, and we have those two. So we created a new entity for I, and then we have this. Now you definitely could call it terrain width, and we need to change how the function works. So we're gonna take the length of shells, and I'm gonna explain everything right now. So length of shells, and what we have over here is basically shell width of 14. So we do for iron range, and then we create the entity over here. We append it to the list, the empty list of shells right there, and then we apply these positions onto it. So let me quickly, yeah, okay, so we need to do shell over here, or we could just change those. I would rather just keep them. Let me just, okay, so what we'll do over here is basically x equals, so like here x equals like this, and then shells I, which basically defines the size of the shell and creates the entity and whatever. So what we're doing here is we're basically defining the x and applying it to the entity. So it's a bit confusing, I know. uh, but it's not that much. So shells. Now I think this is the easiest way. I don't know. I try not to go really hard, but yeah, this is how it turned out. So we can do that, and I think we can do it for the y too. Yeah, shells y. Okay. And don't forget to do dot x because and Ursina won't know which position or I guess shells of what. So let's just do shells I dot and then we have y. There we go. Equals. Let's see if that works. Okay. Grass model is not defined. Yeah. Okay. I got that one there. So go ahead and run it again, and we have terrain width. Okay, yeah, we need to make that global really quick. So I think it's defined. Oh wait, no. Wait, so it's shell width. Okay, shell. Sorry for that. It's shell width. Same thing over here. Shell width. Okay, so after you got that, there's a bit of a mess, but really, if you look at it, not really that confusing. Okay, cube is not defined. Well, it's not cube. It's not cube anymore. It is the x and the y. That's it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, the x and the z. Yeah. So we're just taking in x, z, and there we go. We got a world. We're generating the terrain, and we're deleting it. There we go. That's a solid success for our terrain generation. And we got a little friend over here also. So that's a solid success for our terrain generation. I know it was a bit confusing, but let's go over again. So we got an empty list, okay, and then we have the shell width, which is basically the terrain width. I might need to change the variable's name later. And then we have for I in range, and basically just like we were doing before, shell width and shell width. Or you would think about it as terrain width and terrain width. We apply the texture, the collider, the model to the entity, just a temp, just like an entity that stores an entity, I guess, or a variable that stores an entity. And then shells, we're gonna put entity in the shell. So it's like we're doing this. We're putting ents over here into this list. Now that's there, we have this function called generate terrain. We got some of the variables global, and then we loop through the length of the shell, which is basically I think the shell times shell width. Sorry, shell width times shell width. Where we have this cube box. We're going to implement all of those, the x, the z, and the y. And this is how it tells the cube to move according to the player and delete also according to the player. So, what you could do, this is in a way that's also controllable. So you can basically change that to 16. And yes, it might be laggy, but yeah, I told you it's not the most efficient way, but it's the easiest. Or yeah, I guess in a way it's the easiest. So, and now you can sort of see further. And if you do something like do, which I don't recommend doing, yeah, you'll just have that small platform, and you have a really high chance of falling off. Recommend not doing too. So Like at least do it 10. Like at least. Yeah, that there we go. Now, if you know any efficient way, I would like to hear them in the comments down below. And if you have any suggestions or things that you would like to see in these Ursina tutorials, also leave them in the comments down below. But with that said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys